Hello, in this video I will be making 2 loaves of sourdough bread. I am no expert baker. I'm very much an enthusiast at making sourdough. I'm getting quite happy with what I make, and I recently purchased this specific Dutch oven. It's a cast iron pot, but it's really designed for doing the bread because it's not too deep. The top, as you can see here, and the bottom are sort of similar size, so you wouldn't make a casserole in that. I'm only making sourdoughs in it. What it does, it allows the moisture that's obviously in the water in the dough to stay as steam around the loaf, allowing it to get a much better oven spring, a rise, because it doesn't create that crust too quickly. In the past, you can use one of these cast iron pan. You get that ripping hot as well. Put your loaf in there and try to inject lots of steam into the oven, but your normal domestic oven is very different from a baker's oven. A baker's oven is narrow, so there isn't as much room for the steam to escape, so that's how bakers get such great bread. Anyway, I am going to crack on with making this. I do hope I get a good comparison, and I hope this one is the winner, and I hope you like this one as well. Cheers. Okay, to start with, I've got warm water. That always helps to speed up this process. And that is my starter. I'll share links to how to make that in the description below. And then goes in the strong bread flour. I'm using organic nowadays. Somehow it makes me feel like I'm healthier. Yeah, I know. And there was some salt went in there as well. You try to keep the salt away from the starter at the beginning because they don't get on. But once it's in the flour, it's all right. And I'm not using my stand mixer. I'm just sort of using a little plastic scraper there to do that. And what we have now is a messy, shaggy dough. And we're going to leave that now covered for like 20 minutes, half an hour, something like that, to sort of let the flour absorb the water a bit more. Hydrate, there you go, to hydrate the dough. I was forgetting the words there. And I do recommend this. Get yourself a spritzer, a atomizer, a spray bottle, and we're going to use water when we're handling this, because if you use flour, it's going to just gobble up all that flour and you will not have as nice a bread at the end. And this is the first of many, at least I would say like 6 times that you're going to sort of stretch and fold. You can watch some really complex videos on YouTube that are very good, that's showing you all these different sort of methods, but I like that. I like to just damp hands, a damp surface. This is the second time. See, damp hands. Let's see, spray hands, and that's a bench scraper. That's very useful. I flip it over, so now I've got the wet side down. The top side of it is a bit more tacky, so it'll sort of stick to itself. And we stretch it out, and we fold it over, and we stretch it out, and we fold it over, and we just keep going around. And you'll notice after don't try not to tear it. That's not so good. We're building up a network of gluten here, but you'll notice after a while it gets tight, and that is the gluten's activating. Yes, they get tight like a tiger. And then I try to form it into a ball. I've realised that the surface I'm doing is a bit wet still, so it's not sort of sticking as I want to, but try to sort of squeeze it into a tight ball each time. And we honestly don't try to keep count, just keep going. You'll notice after a time it starts to feel nice and puffy. It's proofing in between, and it's sort of building up the gases inside it. Obviously you knock some of them out when you're doing this, and just keep going basically. This took, I've never made sourdough from start to finish in one day. It always goes into the next day, so there'll be a point where you go, that's it, I'm off to bed, and that was the point. This is the next morning. I put that in the fridge in a bowl overnight and then carried on. I thought you wouldn't notice, but it's pretty obvious really. And in a minute I'm going to have a shower and change my shirt. But there we go. So I've done that. I've stretched and folded it at least 6 times And now, so we got, you know, a good scientific experiment here. I'm dividing this into two exactly the same size doughs, right? So, you know, the scales come out and I go, oh, that's not quite right, and I take a bit off, and then I keep it. Anyway, you know what I'm doing. It's obvious, isn't it, really? I'm just trying to make them sure that they're exactly the same. So you can't go, oh, unclematt, I think that loaf you did in the Dutch oven was actually bigger to start with. No, you can't, because look, same, exactly the same. So there. And here we go. So now they're going to have another little stretch and fold. Oh, I just love doing this. It's one of those things that when you first start doing it, you get in a real mess with it. And that's why I like the water method, because it sort of stops you getting too sticky, but it doesn't sort of ruin the dough. And you sort of like got to show it no fear. Show it who's boss, because it will smell the fear and it will defeat you if you give in to it. You know what I mean? No, probably not. Anyway, so now this is the only time I'm using flour for the final sort of bit, the shaping. So flour on the top, and then flour on the surface, flip it over, and now and flour the hands so you don't get in a mess. And now this is, I'm not very good at this, so watch other videos for how to shape your sourdough, but sort of try to stretch it out into a elongated, I think that's a word, and then sort of over to the middle, and then the sides come in one after the other, like that, yeah, and then stretch that bit out like that, yeah, and now fold it over, and now sort of try to weave in the sides. I don't know what word we'd use for that, but yeah, get those in, and there, look, it's so nice, and it's really nice to handle now. It's all like puffy. I love it. And that's going to go in a floured banneton. When I bought these, I didn't realise that the canvas bit was supposed to be used, so it used to really stick to the bamboo bits, and then I realised you can use that, and it's much easier to get this out afterwards. It doesn't stick so much. You don't get the same sort of effect with all the lines, but you know, I'd rather just be able to get it out of the banneton. So the second one, that we're doing that bit, and we're doing it the same. So we're treating both these loaves exactly the same, right up until the point that we're going to bake them, and that's when it will be different. So there we go. We've got two very, very potentially beautiful loaves of sourdough. I really like this recipe. As I say, it will be in the description below, and you can have a look there. And you know, while you're down there, you click those other buttons. You know, you click that sort of that thumbs up, and you like it, and you share this with somebody, and you subscribe to my channel, because it's really struggling here. We're really struggling to get YouTube to like me. Anyway, I use little sort of caddy liner bags there, because I find they're really handy to sort of create a like a moist area for them to proof. And whilst they're proofing, I'm putting my skillet and my Dutch oven in the oven, and it's on full whack for this. So let's go in with the skillet method first. I always like to brush off some of the excess flour. Do this very delicately, because you don't want to knock out the gas that you've got in there. And that's a razor blade, known as a lame. And you just sort of try. I don't do any fancy sort of. It's a bit like if you make a frothy coffee. I can't do the fancy pattern on top, and I can't do the fancy sourdough art either. But you know, like, try to cut a nice groove in it. That's the point where it's gonna rise from, so hopefully it doesn't sort of split on the side and look ugly. And there we go, we've spritzed some water in there, and we've put the tray boiling hot water in there to get some steam, and you can see, look, it's rising. We've got oven spring. So the timings and everything, it depends on your oven. I turn my oven down from full whack to about 200 after about 10 minutes or so. But there we go, that was about half an hour of baking. But I go till it's a really nice colour. I don't worry too much about tapping it in. Does it sound hollow? I just want a really nice colour, because I think it improves the flavour. So here we go, the Dutch oven. So I put that back in the oven for a little while longer, so it got really ripping hot again. Exactly the same sort of slice with the lame, with the razor. Bit of a spritz in there, and in the oven. So after about 12 minutes, usually I say about 12 minutes, after 12 minutes, I take off the lid and hello, looky here. That's called an ear, and I don't often achieve that, so I am well excited with myself here. And I mean, you know, what do you reckon? I reckon the Dutch oven is more betterer. Absolutely. Look at that. It's so sexy. Look at that ear. So you got to leave them alone. You got to let them cool down a little bit before you know, because if you cut the loaf of bread when it's hot, the sort of steam escapes and it's just not as good. So back off. You've waited. This is like over a day's work here. So, you know, show a little bit of restraint at the end, and let's have a slice. That looks nice. It looks nice, doesn't it? It's not perfect. It's definitely not perfect, but, you know, it's a sourdough. It's going to taste absolutely gorgeous. And the great thing about sourdough as well, even after a couple of days, if it lasts that long, you toast it. Oh my God, it makes some amazing toast. But look, I mean, there is a comparison there, and that is lighter. It's better. The Dutch oven is a winner, and I can publish this video with confidence and go, yes, I have helped people. If you feel like I've helped you, again, press that subscribe button and like the video and share this and leave me a comment below telling me how wonderful that looks. And listen. Yeah. And now the tasting.
Visibly, it is very obvious which loaf got the better oven spring, and a better oven spring means inside it's lighter. You know, I'll never be an expert at this. I think it's probably like playing golf. You get a bit better, but you know, I love it anyway. I think it tastes great, and this is going to taste absolutely fantastic. And I'm going to taste this one first. It's just a bit more dense. It's not as light, and it just doesn't look quite as nice either. But let's have a go. It's absolutely delicious. Whatever it is about sourdough that just tastes so much better than regular bread, and homemade sourdough tastes better than shop bought sourdough, in my opinion. Or maybe that's because it's my sourdough. Maybe. Stop it. So let's have a go. I've already tried it, but this the better one. Honestly, there's nothing really in it, the flavour. Of course it isn't, because identical. They were identical up until the moment. That one was put in the oven in a hot skillet with some steam injected in there, you know, via the tray with hot water in it. And that one was kept in a smaller chamber called a Dutch oven, and the moisture was kept around it, and it allowed it to expand more. I will say I have made better sourdoughs with this method, and so I would say I could have possibly proved it for longer until it was very, very puffy. I've done that, and sometimes they get damaged when you turn them out into the pan, you know, to bake. So, but if I had have proved it for a bit longer, I think I would have got a better loaf out of it. But that one is fantastic, and I have done this method from cold. So I've had it in the fridge overnight. I've come down in the morning, just literally got the Dutch oven hot, put it straight in, and you've got similar results to that. So because it's just when it's cold, it takes longer for the water to boil, turn into steam, and escape. So it takes a bit longer to cook, but you still get a really decent oven spring. Anyway, I thought that's interesting. I hope you like it. And if you're giving sourdough a try, or you want to do it but you're a bit intimidated by it, that recipe is really quite straightforward. And I've had that starter in my fridge now for over 5 years, and I feed it every now and again. Sometimes I have left it for up to 2 or 3 months. I've forgotten about it and I thought, I better just feed it a bit of flour and water, and it's come back. And so you don't feel that if you're doing this you have to make it all the time. You don't. And anyway, That's it. Thank you very much for watching. Obviously, as always, you like and share, subscribe, and all those things, and it makes absolutely no difference whatsoever, because it is entirely up to either YouTube or Rumble to decide whether or not this video gets recommended to people. But you could share it with people if you like, you know, especially this one. It's quite specialist, someone that you know that's into sourdough and they're struggling. Share my video with them, please. Anyway, that's it. I'll catch you again, I don't know when, probably not that soon, when I can be bothered to do another one. Anyway, see you then. Bye. Bit more.